You know, one of the questions pastors get asked a lot is who's going to get to heaven? Do you think Hitler is going to get to heaven? You say God is gracious. You say God can forgive anything. Well, how gracious is God really? Who gets into heaven? Who would you let in? How many lost sheep can fit on that glory train anyway? Sure, we want a merciful God, but what about Judas? Well, I don't know who gets into heaven. Fortunately, that's not my decision, and it's not your decision either. But where do you draw the line? Who does God show mercy to? Whom will you show mercy to? Will Judas get in? Will Paul Olson? Do you even belong there? Is it fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs? Got a great story today. This week in our churches, we heard the story of Jesus and the Canaanite woman from Matthew 15. The story says that a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David, for my daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus didn't answer her at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." And Jesus answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But she came and knelt down before him, saying, "Lord, help me." He answered, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." And she said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." And then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was healed instantly. Such a great story. A feisty, nasty Jesus and a back-talking bad girl. You know, first of all, this is a Canaanite woman. Canaanite, that's kind of an old-fashioned word that hardly ever shows up in the New Testament, but it shows up quite a bit in the Old Testament, and it's never positive when it does. Here's the way the book of Deuteronomy uses it. When the Lord your God brings you into the land that you are about to enter and occupy, and God clears away many nations before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations mightier and more numerous than you, and when the Lord your God gives them over to you and you defeat them, then you must utterly destroy them. Make no covenant with them, and show them no mercy. So, when this obnoxious woman starts shouting at Jesus, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David," it's one of those very same sinful Canaanites that God had commanded the Israelites to show no mercy. So when Jesus did not answer at all, well, what did she expect? And when Jesus calls her one of the dogs, well, she's probably heard worse, and she maybe even deserved it. It might sound like a nasty Jesus to you, but so far everything in this story, right up to the last verse, would sound perfectly righteous to Matthew's first listeners. "Send her away," Jesus' disciples tell him. And everybody would have said, "Yeah, and good riddance too." Which, if you know Jesus, ought to make you duck. Because you know the gospel has a way of messing with whatever you thought you knew about God. Jesus shows mercy to this woman. Against all the odds and all the rules, Jesus shows her mercy. At just the point where we can finally stomach the story, Jesus actually shows us how offensive the mercy of God can be. How wild and free, how inclusive and all-embracing, how forgiving and giving. Jesus shows us that facing your enemies isn't about power. Strength isn't demonstrated by dominion over others, but by the ability to be merciful to them. If you are ever in your righteous indignation, if you are ever tempted not to show mercy to someone who doesn't deserve it, you better think again. Jesus doesn't ask this woman to do anything. He just recognizes the miracle of her faith and gives her what she wants. How miraculous it is that any of us have the faith to believe that God could be merciful to us. Faith is essential. You must believe. But it is not conditional. It is miraculous. It comes to birth in the most amazing, unexpected places, the most impossible souls, a Canaanite woman, John Wilkes Booth maybe, you or me. Jesus breaks the rules and shows mercy and sets us an example. To those to whom mercy should not be sown, mercy is shown, which is, of course, the very definition of what God's mercy is. And the woman shows us that we are all the recipients of that mercy. And it's only a miracle of faith that we're here where we belong, following her example, humbly begging for God's mercy. It truly is by grace that we are saved.